Have you ever seen a man lose everything and still smile the next morning? That man was Bashir Ahmed, a 70-year-old farmer from a small village near Mutang. For as long as anyone could remember, Bashir's farm had been the heart of his life, 10 acres of golden wheat that danced with the wind, whispering stories of hard work and faith. The villagers admired him not for his wealth, but for his wisdom. Land is like a mother, he used to say. If you care for her, she will never abandon you. But one night, the sky roared with rage, thunder shook the heavens, and the clouds split open as rain poured like grief. Within hours, the small canal near Bashir's farm overflowed, turning the soul into a raging river. The flood came without mercy, sweeping away homes, animals, and dreams. By dawn, Bashir stood on the muddy edge of what was once his land. The wheat fields were gone. His house had collapsed. The livestock he raised for decades had drowned. Even the soul seemed dead, buried under a thick layer of silt. His son, Imran, who worked as a mechanic in the nearby town, came running. "Abba, we'll start again, somehow." Bashir didn't reply. His eyes stared blankly into the flooded fields. For the first time in 50 years, the man who never missed a morning prayer fell silent before God. Days passed. Relief teams arrived, distributed food, took photos, and left. Neighbors packed their belongings and moved to safer lands. But Bashir refused to leave. "This land raised me," he told Imran. "If I leave her now, who will bring her back to life?" Imran shook his head. "Abba, you're 70. You can start from nothing again." Bashir smiled faintly. "Then it's the perfect time to begin again." But it wasn't easy. The first few months were brutal. The once fertile soil had turned into clay. Nothing grew. His savings were gone. The government promised help, but none came. Some villagers whispered, "The old man's lost his mind." Others mocked, "He's too stubborn to see it's over." Yet every morning, Bashir would wake before dawn, pick up his rusty shovel, and walk to the fields alone. His hands were cracked, his back bent, but his spirit remained unbroken. One evening, while resting near a ruined wall, he noticed a group of young agricultural students visiting flood-hit farms. One of them, a bright-eyed girl named Aisha, was talking about modern techniques: solar irrigation, drip systems, hybrid seeds. Bashir listened silently. When the group passed him, he stood up and asked softly, "Can these new ideas make that land live again?" Aisha looked at him, surprised. "Yes, uncle. If you're willing to learn." And that moment, that single sentence lit a spark in his heart again. The next morning, Aisha and her team returned. They spent hours teaching Bashir about soil testing, water management, and organic composting. He didn't understand much at first. The terms felt like a foreign language, but his curiosity grew faster than weeds. With Imran's help, Bashir sold his old tractor parts and installed a small solar-powered pump. He learned how to mix organic fertilizer using cow dung and crop waste. He even started watching videos on Imran's smartphone, though he often joked, "These machines are cleverer than me." At first, the land resisted. Seeds didn't sprout. The water flow was irregular. Bashir's back ached so badly that some nights he couldn't sleep, but he refused to give up. "Every failure," he told Aisha, "is just a test of how much I love this land." By the second season, something changed. Tiny green shoots broke through the brown soil. The crops grew taller every day, shimmering under the sun. The neighbors who once mocked him now stood by the road, staring in disbelief. How did he do it? They whispered. Soon, Bashir's land became the only fully recovered farm in the area. He started growing vegetables using drip irrigation and rotating crops, things no one in the village had ever tried before. His produce was fresher, greener, and more profitable. Within 2 years, Bashir Ahmed's name spread across the district. Agricultural officers visited his farm to learn from him. The same villagers who once pitied him now sought his advice. One afternoon, a reporter arrived to film a short documentary. Standing amidst rows of flourishing crops, Bashir said, "When the flood took everything, I thought God was punishing me. But now I know He was preparing me for something greater. The flood didn't destroy me. It washed away my fear." As his words aired on television, people from nearby villages began visiting him: young farmers, students, and even officials. They came not to see the land, but the man who refused to surrender. Bashir had become a living lesson that it's never too late to begin again, that age doesn't define strength, courage does, that when life buries you in mud, you can still rise if you believe in your own roots. One evening, Aisha visited for the last time before leaving for her research abroad. She handed Bashir a small sapling and said, "This tree will grow tall, uncle, like your story." Bashir planted it beside his farmhouse and looked at the horizon glowing orange. His voice, soft but steady, carried in the wind, "I didn't just rebuild my farm. I rebuilt my faith." Ending message: sometimes, God breaks your ground, so you can plant stronger seeds. Bashir Ahmed's journey reminds us that resilience has no age limit, and hope, like soil, always finds a way to heal.